Good evening, residents of Everett, Washington. I would like to call to order the Everett City Council meeting of February 15th, 2023. The City Council meets all requirements of the State of Washington Open Public Meetings Act. Tonight, council members are participating via remote. Community members are welcome to join either in person, via remote Zoom, or by calling in. For those who wish to participate in a future meeting via Zoom, you'll find instructions to register for public comment on the City of Everett website under the City Council department. Please note we do not allow comments on any kind of campaigning, whether for or against ballot measures or candidates running for office. We also do not accept comments focused on personal matters that are unrelated to city business. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mayor Franklin.
Excused.
Councilmember, I'm so sorry. Councilmember Tui. Councilmember Schwab.
I thought he was here. Well, he's excused.
No, he's here. He's just trying.
There he is. Okay.
Unmute, Don.
I'm well, thank you.
Great. Councilmember Fossey.
Present.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Here.
Councilmember Vogely.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
President Stonecipher.
Here. I'd like to ask Councilmember Zarlingo, will you please lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Councilmember Vogely, would you please read the land acknowledgement?
Happily. I'm going to move people out of the way of the words. Okay. We acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Shtahobsh people and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered on, and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes and bring about a future that includes their people, stories, and voices to form a more just and equitable society.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes of February 8th, 2023?
Councilmember Ryan, so moves.
Councilmember Tui seconds.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Schwab.
Yes.
Councilmember Fossey.
Yes.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
President Stonecipher.
Yes. Mayor Franklin is absent this evening. Angie, do we have anyone signed up to speak this evening for public comment?
Hello, President Stonecipher. We have one person in chambers, but before I call them up, I do have received 2 written comments, one from Chris Beard and one from Barbara George. Both have been provided to council, administration, and to the clerk to be part of the permanent record. So we will move on with our public commenter in chambers. Jay, if you could come to the podium, please. And just click the right button on the mic there on the bottom on the base.
Oh, this one?
Yep, should be. And then state your full name, city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Jay Lindberg. I'm in Stanwood. My family's been up here in this city for years. Tonight I'm just rehearsing. I haven't spoken in front of a crowd in like 5 years. My background is I'm a systems analyst, author. I've done research for Congress. I have a security clearance, and most of the research that I've done over the last 4 decades is involved in public policy reform. Today I want to talk to you about the war in Ukraine and give you some background. Putin's goals in the war in Ukraine is to reunite the ethnic Russians in Ukraine with Mother Russia. Approximately 30% of the country of Ukraine is ethnic Russians, and that's where the battles are being fought. Another goal is to denazify Ukraine and to destroy the petrodollar and the unipolar world run by the U.S. The goals of the EU, NATO, and the U.S. is basically to balkanize Russia and loot their assets. The best example is what we did to the Native Americans in the U.S. Russia is winning this war, and the best way to explain it is that the Russians have inflicted over $400 billion worth of infrastructure damage to Ukraine. Over $150 billion worth of EU-donated weapons have been destroyed in Ukraine. 300,000 Ukrainians have died. 550,000 have been wounded. And they've done all of this for approximately $30 billion. Ukraine and the EU. Ukraine and the EU has spent over $250 billion on this war so far. They've inflicted $10 to $15 billion worth of weapons destruction to Russian weapons. 20 to 25,000 Russians have been killed. That's less than 1/10 the number of Ukrainians that have been killed in this war. And 10 to 15 billion dollars worth of, am I done already? 30 seconds. Okay, 10 to 15 billion dollars worth of weapons destruction. 50,000 have been wounded. I'm concerned that the U.S. is talking about sending 100 F-16s to Ukraine. If we send 100 F-16s to Ukraine, it is estimated with the statistics that are there that we will only take out 6 to 8 Russian jets.
Your time is up, Jay. Thank you so much.
I think you got my point. Thank you.
Thank you. President Stonecipher, that's all we have for tonight's public comments.
Thank you. We will move on to council comments and liaison reports, starting with Councilmember Zarlingo.
A couple of things. One of them has to do with sound transit. You've probably heard me say before that this is a good time to be involved, to learn, not only because it will eventually direct, the feedback will help us direct where the routes and stations go for these things, the services that are coming some years from now, but because those will also determine developments and other actions in the near term. So there's a site, everettlink.participate.online, a good way you can virtually give feedback and get information about what those plans are, including some presentations. And then the other thing I wanted to mention for Councilmember Fossey last night, I attended the Riverside neighborhood gathering. And as is so commonly the case, those are very interesting, informative, and kind of enthusiasm generating gatherings. It's neat to see a neighborhood get together and not only share some of their concerns, but also share the kinds of things they're doing to improve their neighborhood. They really, it's not a complaint fest. It's really a situation where they understand what's going on, ask questions, and then talk about the kinds of things, including charity events and personal action they're doing to make their neighborhood better. So thanks to the Riverside group and also for Councilmember Fossey for inviting me, giving me the opportunity to go to that meeting. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Schwab.
Yes,
Sorry, this is Everett Channel Tech. We just lost the signal for broadcast. My apologies. One moment, please. My apologies. We are back on.
Thank you. Councilmember Schwab, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I just want to thank the mayor staff. We're very excited about the Hannah Brook Park improvements. There is a lot of challenges there. Thankfully, we had a lot of neighborhood residents cleaning the park, and there is from time to time an encampment and a really big needle problem. So I'm just really thankful for the neighbors there, and I'm thankful the city is making a few improvements.
Thank you. Councilmember Ryan.
Great. Good evening, folks. Good to see everybody. I wanted to share that I attended the Port Gardner Neighborhood Association meeting on Monday night. They meet the second Wednesday of every month at Sequoia High School's cafeteria, starting at 7 p.m. This month, York Stephen Wajda, our very own planning director, was able to attend to share more about the comp plan and the work that the city's doing to prepare for the update to our comp plan. I just want to give a big shout out to York for the amazing presentation that he gave. He fielded some really difficult technical questions, but he also fielded some very difficult comments from people who are really frustrated with housing prices and traffic in the community. And it was a good reminder of just how important this premier planning document is going to be to the future of Everett and the way that we plan for the incredible population growth that will inevitably happen in our community. So if folks are listening, if they want to take a look at the plan, it's easy website, everettwa.gov/2044 to review the current draft. And then there's also opportunities for people to provide public comment on things that they would like to see in the plan or not like to see in the plan. You know, what are some things about Everett that you love? What are some things that you'd like to see improved? So I would encourage folks to head that direction. Today I spoke at the Carl Gibson Center and at their lunchtime talker series and just really grateful for the continued partnership with the city and Volunteers of America Western Washington, and thankful for the transformative work that they're doing in the community at the community center to broaden their services that they provide, including hosting fun events like the Valentine's Day Ball that they hosted over the weekend. So kudos to the team over there. And that's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Vice President Toohey.
Yeah, thank you, Council President. I just have one comment tonight, just a follow-up. I met this week with Kathy and administration, a follow-up on our council retreat and our council committees. So I did send out an email today with a few revisions to it. I think they were really great ideas that the staff brought forward. And so take a look at those. What they did was they wrote out what the buckets were in each committee, and they did shift a few things around because housing and homelessness was such a huge topic, and really a lot of the things were in many different topics were in very many different committees. So as such, you know, encampments would fall under safe communities, and temporary shelters would be under health and human services. And that. So please take a look and let me know if you have any questions. I think those are as you fill out your form for what your top selection is, and send that off to Council President on Monday. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Vice President Toohey, for moving forward with that with our with Kathy, our facilitator. Councilmember Fossey.
Thank you. Quick comments. Thank you to council members Arlingo for visiting our wonderful Riverside neighbors. I know they love it when we have council members able to stop by and engage. Yes, it's wonderful, lovely neighbors. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Vice President Toohey for chatting with our Delta neighbors over some of their issues recently. I heard back all positive things. So I just wanted to give my appreciation for reaching out to them. That's it for tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Vogely.
I have no comment this evening.
Thank you, and I have no comments. Do we have an administrative update this evening?
No administrative update this evening, thanks.
Thank you, and I'll call on the city attorney. Mr. Hall, what do you have for us this evening?
There is no report from the legal department, and there will be a 30-minute executive session to discuss a legal matter pursuant to RCW 4231.10(1)(I) sub 3 with potential announcement to follow. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to our consent agenda. Do I hear a motion for the 3 consent items?
Councilmember Ryan moves the 3 consent agenda items.
Councilmember Tui seconds that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Schwab?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Vice President Tui?
Yes.
Councilmember Fossey?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
President Stonecipher?
Yes. We have 6 proposed action items. Items 4 and 5 are second readings, which have already been read into the record. Items 6 through 9 are first readings. Therefore, I'm going to read each one into the record at this time. Item 6 is Council Bill 2302-06, first reading. Adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Wall Street Connector, Fund 303, Program 129. Third and final reading will be on March 1st, 2023. Item 7 is Council Bill 2302-07, first reading. Adopt an ordinance closing a special improvement project entitled Water Transmission Line Replacement at 91st Avenue Southeast, Fund 336, Program 009, as established by ordinance number 3728-20. Third and final reading will be on March 1st as well. Item 8 is Council Bill 2302-08, first reading. Adopt an ordinance setting the meeting time schedule for City Council's regularly scheduled meetings, repealing ordinance number 3170-10. Third and final reading will be on March 1st. And Council Bill, item 9 is Council Bill 2302-09, first reading. Adopt the ordinance relating to the downtown business improvement area, amending ordinance number 3582-17 as amended. The third and final reading on this will be also on March 1st. Note, this item was presented by our Economic Development Director, Dan Ernest, during the resolution action item at the February 1st council meeting. There's no scheduled briefing on this. And as a reminder, this ordinance will modify the annual increase that follows CPIU to cap the annual increase levied on the downtown Everett business improvement area property owners, and that cap will be at 5%. The DIA board unanimously supports this change, but we will take this up on March 1st. Any questions or comments on the proposed action items? Councilmember Vogely.
Thank you so much. Actually, I just realized that I didn't say anything to our speaker earlier. So I don't actually have any questions about this, but I wanted to say, oh my goodness, thank you for speaking to an entirely empty council chambers. And I'm glad you were able to come down. I'm glad that it was open for people to speak, even though we are remote. So thank you for that bit of time. That's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Vogely. Any questions on the proposed action items? Councilmember Ryan.
Yes, thank you. I have a question about action item number 4, probably for Lori, but might be more of a Bob Leonard question that we can have an answer for next week. So tapping into my elephant memory, if I remember correctly, the original proposal for Hannah Brook was for a hill climb, and that was the project title that was approved by the county, but then this is showing that it's for a trail. So since those aren't aligning with what the original proposal was and what's before us today, I was wanted to make sure that the county was aware that the scope of the project's changed and if they're okay with that.
It is my understanding they are aware, but I will circle back around with Bob Leonard in the morning and make sure that that is the case. Thank you.
Great, thanks. That's all.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions or comments on proposed items, we have no action items this evening. So we will now adjourn to our executive session, which is expected to last 30 minutes with possible council action to follow. 15-minute segment. Thank you. This is Council President Stonecipher. The council is still in its executive session and we would request 5 more minutes. Thank you. The Everett City Council is back from our executive session, and we have an action to come. I will entertain a motion. The motion is to direct the council president to enter into a contract with Stokes Lawrence and Amy Kangas Alexander to conduct an investigation to determine whether the relationship between the mayor and a City of Everett employee violates any laws or policies, and to investigate whether there was any misuse of city resources or other malfeasance related to that relationship. Do I hear a motion?
Councilmember Vogely still moves that motion.
Ryan, second.
Do I hear a second? We have a motion and a second. I will ask if we have any questions or comments. I'm going to go down the roll for this, starting with Councilmember Zarlingo.
No questions or comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Schwab. You're muted. Oh, thank you.
No questions or comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Ryan.
No questions or comments.
Councilmember Vice President Toohey.
No comment.
Councilmember Fossey.
No comment.
Councilmember Vogely.
Comment just that it is difficult but necessary.
Thank you. And I will just say, as the leader of the City Council, I concur with the advice of our outside counsel, and I support the action to make further inquiries about the circumstances and details of this personal relationship. I hope and truly expect that this work will reveal no wrongdoing, but I do believe it's important as council members to conduct this investigation to ensure that our government is operating effectively and lawfully, so that we can preserve and protect our collective faith in the integrity of our municipal government. We owe it to our constituents to do this work. With that, I would ask, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Zarlingo,
Yes.
Councilmember Schwab,
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan,
Yes.
Vice President Toohey,
Yes.
Councilmember Fossey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely,
Yes.
President Stonecipher.
Yes. And with no further business, we are now adjourned.